All right, hey everybody, what's happening? Happy September. Happy almost fall or already fall, depending on which calendar you follow. It's also time when leaves should be starting to turn soon. It's a little bit nicer weather for picnics and for potlucks, and it is certainly football season, so tailgating is in full swing, right? You hear me, all of you Vandal fans, you can't tell, but I'm wearing the Vandal jersey. So BSU fans, we love you too, but I'm just saying, Vandal fan. All right, you guys, so what we wanted to do was put together some basically kind of like party foods is what we kind of have, party foods, potluck foods, whatever you kind of need for that sort of a scenario. But again, just give you something that will help you feel like you're still eating something that's on target, what you still want to try and do, really trying to keep yourself kind of into that realm of where you want to be with your food choices as often as possible, because we're always going to step outside of that on occasion. But if we can have options that help us kind of stay within that realm of choices that we're trying to make on a consistent basis, just gives us a little bit more flexibility and allows us to enjoy some really special things on special occasions, and when we are going to go hit the tailgate and have some fun and watch football and hang out with our friends. So what we are going to start with is basically we're calling them cheeseburger muffins, which sounds kind of weird, but that's what they are. It's like a cheeseburger in your hand, but it's not the whole big thing with the bun. We've got like an actual little muffin, so something really easy to grab and go ahead and put on your plate. So what we've started with is we did make a little bit of a crust. So there's a little bit of a crust that goes into this, and we've already pre-made this portion, but this is going to be a mix of some almond flour and some ground flaxseed, and then we've got, of course, a little bit of salt, a little bit of baking powder, just a little bit to kind of give it a little bit of lift and expansion, and then for moisture we got some eggs and some sour cream. And so we mix that all together. It is pretty wet, just to let you know. And then we smashed it into our little muffin tins. These are the silicone ones, which really are kind of handy for getting it back out again when you're done. So looks kind of weird and brown. It's not the prettiest thing, but looks much better after it's baked. So we've got these all here ready to go, waiting to receive. And then we've got to come up with our filling, right? So this is kind of like the bun substitute. We've got to have the burger part, right? So we've got our pound of ground beef here. If you can't do ground beef, you can certainly do ground chicken, ground turkey. A different meat is totally fine to do that. But we've got our pound of ground beef, and we pre-cooked this. We put several seasonings in there, mix in with it. So we've got some tomato paste in here, some onion powder, some garlic powder. I think we've got a little salt and pepper. Yes. And then just to kind of, add a layer, we've got about a half cup of some shredded cheddar that went into this as well. So we got to have our cheeseburger vibe, right? So we've got that in here. And basically, we're just going to start filling our cups with the cheeseburger part. And so I'm going to try and do this and make it look as nice as possible. There we go. And you're just filling these all up. The recipe says to make 9. Ours, we kind of divided it up and we actually got to 11. So, you can kind of divide it up however you feel like it works the best for your muffin tins. But the recipe breaks it up into 9. So that's what you'll want to think of if you're tracking and paying attention to the nutritional information that comes with the recipe. I'm kind of pressing this in. I want a burger, right? So I'm gonna let's fill this guy up. Let's make sure we're all nice and solidly filled. And that's pretty much gonna take you home with this guy for the most part, except for when we toss a little extra on top, which we'll show you a little bit later. But then after this, all you do is pop it into the oven. So these are going to be pretty easy, pretty simple, other than pre-cooking the meat. And I don't know, I got to tell you guys, I'm always kind of curious what people like to do. I am really finding that prepping, even if it's just prepping a few parts of my meals ahead of time for the week, makes such a huge difference. We're going to make some breadsticks here in a couple of minutes, not to ruin the surprise, but we are. And I actually took that recipe and I made it and I baked it, pre-baked it, And that was the pizza crust that I actually used for my family for pizza night a couple nights later. And they loved it. And I was like, awesome, because it's like low carb, cheesy crust. It was great. So you can kind of do a couple different applications with that recipe when we get to it. But what we have here now are very solidly filled cheeseburger muffins. And you know, the meat is all pre-cooked. In fact, when you're cooking the beef, if you don't quite get it all the way cooked, that's totally fine because it is going to go into the oven. So if there's a little bit of pink left, it's fine. It's going to finish off in the oven for sure. But we're going to go ahead and put this into the oven, 350 degrees, right around that 20-ish minute mark. We'll check it at 15, but that's what we're going to do. And then we'll pull it out, sprinkle a little extra cheese on top because it is a cheeseburger. And we'll pop it in just to melt that cheese for another couple minutes. And then we'll do our condiments a little bit later. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the oven. We're going to let this guy ride. And we are moving on. So Amber, I'm ready for a commercial break already. It's time. Awesome. Do it. Let's get this food done, right? Oh, wait, actually, Amber, before you change me over, I do want to talk about our Thousand Island dressing recipe that we did put with this as well. So we have a Thousand Island dressing recipe that we've been making and refining for several years now. It's really, really good and it's not super hard. So definitely anyone can do it. Everything goes in a bowl and you just stir it right up. And this we thought would kind of come off as a good mac sauce to go on top of our burger bites. You could even kind of mix it into the meat a little bit or put it underneath the meat if you wanted to on top of that crust. But mayonnaise, we've got some ketchup in here, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sugar substitute just to kind of balance out the acid that's going to be in there. And then some pickle relish, some onion, salt, pepper, a little bit of soy sauce or tamari or coconut aminos. Again, just a little bit of that brininess that will come in. And then if you need to thin it down, a little milk, although I find I never really need to. It's usually the right consistency for what I need. And I'll tell you, this is one of my little tricks because this recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of minced onion. Like who's going to cut up a whole onion or cut off like a tiny little piece? And then maybe that's what we have to do. And then we have to put it back in the fridge for what we're going to do with it next. So I just buy frozen chopped onions and I just pull out a little bit and I chop that up. Really easy for the 2 teaspoons that's going to go into this dressing recipe. And then you're not cutting into a whole onion unless you're using it for something else. So that is my little tidbit. So we'll show that here later in the class as well. And we're going to put that on top of our burger bites because we really, really like it. All right. Now I'm ready for a commercial break. Amber, thanks for being flexible.
Thank you so much, Jen, for that. Those are going to be good. And that sauce on top is going to be awesome. Well, I have some fun little trivia. I'm going to keep my picnic picture back on there, though, because I'm going to talk about pigskin since we've got potluck picnics and tailgate parties. Our title used to be pigskins, pigskin potlucks and picnics. But anyway, that was last year. Anyway, I have some fun football trivia while we're waiting for Jen. And Jen, I have a little note for you, just so you know. Something I need during the break. I didn't want to be in camera. Let's see. So what I thought was really cool, there is some football trivia, like I said. The first intercollegiate football game was played between Rutgers University and Princeton on November 6th, 1869. But obviously, if you couldn't, if you went back in time to watch it, it would be more like rugby and soccer mixed. It wasn't like the game that we know today as football. The other one is the most pass attempts. I mean, I do love college football. I'm not a huge NFL fan, but I mean, I watch it once in a while. But the most pass attempts I thought was crazy in a game. Connor Halliday of Washington State threw an incredible 89 passes against Oregon in October of 2013, the most ever in a Division I football game, which is crazy. And then, but Eastern New Mexico, J.J. Harp, threw 94 passes, but that was in a Division II game against Southeastern Oklahoma in 2009. And then we all love the bowl games. during Christmas time and New Year's. And the very first bowl game happened on New Year's Day in 1902, if you can believe that, between Michigan and Stanford. The very first bowl game. Let's see. Michigan won 49-0, by the way. Not that that really matters. Let's see. Any other football fans online here? What do you want to know about football? We've got, let's see. This one I live off of. I try to go watch a high school football game, and it's so hard for me without instant replay. I'm so spoiled by TV. The first game with instant replay was the first college to have this as a feature, was an Army-Navy game in Philadelphia on December 7th of 1963. So a fourth quarter touchdown was replayed from a tape during the broadcast, right? Because everything used to be recorded and taped. So, okay, I didn't have my chat open. Let's see. Someone did ask a question. Is the meat cooked before it goes in the tin? Yes, it is. Tambra, I'm sorry. I did not see that question when I didn't have my chat open during the time Jen was speaking. So I apologize for that. So that's just some fun trivia. Another thing, let's see. The oldest football stadium is Franklin Field, home of the Penn Quakers. It's America's oldest continuously operating college football stadium. It's also the first stadium to have a scoreboard and hosted the first televised football game broadcast. But I don't know how old it is. That's the thing. Let's see. Someone said there's a new movie out about the oldest football player ever to play college football. It's called The Senior. Do you know who it is? Ooh, I do not. I hope you do. Wow. Okay, you got to tell us, Tambra. I love new movies. That sounds like a great new movie. Mike Flint. How old is he? I wonder. Do you know how old he is? I guess I could Google it. So anyway, it looks like Jen is ready. She's ready. Okay, awesome. 59. Okay. Oh, you mean he played that whole time? Okay. In college? Wait. The oldest player. Oh, no, he started at 59? Okay, wait. It's a great movie. He was 59. Okay. Wow. Okay, I need to know more about this. Thank you, Tambra. I'm going to switch it back over to Jen so we stay on schedule. I love that stuff. I have to see the movie. Okay, I agree. We love those kind of movies.
All right, you guys, we're back in the kitchen here. I promised breadsticks, and it's happening. Okay, so we've done something kind of like this before when we've used something similar to this as a bread crust. So it seems kind of like an easy move to just make it into breadsticks, right? So that is what we're going to do, because then we're going to have some pizza dip that I'll show you here next after this, that these breadsticks go really, really good with. Like, it is a good pizza dip. Okay, people gonna like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these breadsticks put together. And the first thing that we have to do is we have to melt our cheese. So the base of this really is going to be the cheeses. We've got 2 cups of mozzarella, and we got about 3 ounces of some cream cheese. And I just popped it into the microwave to get it all melty. What I find works really well is to put the mozzarella in there first and heat that for about a minute, and then pull it out and put the cream cheese in with it, and then finish it for 40 to 60 seconds, however long it needs. And that seems to work really well because the mozzarella seems to need a little bit more time, just kind of what I have found. And then you're going to stir it all together and get it all mixed. And so you get a nice kind of big globby mass in there, right? So you can kind of see that sort of, there we go. So just kind of try to mash it all together in here. And then we've got 1 egg. So not too hot, right? It's warm, but it's not going to cook the egg. We are going to put our 1 egg in there and just kind of get that all kind of mixed in. It takes a minute to get the egg to agree with the cheese, to hold hands with it rather well, and to decide that it wants to mix in, but it will eventually. And then, of course, we'll have to move on to our dry ingredients. So this is going to be an almond flour based cheesy cheese sticks. When I made mine at home, I had to make an adjustment because my husband is allergic to nuts, and so I couldn't use almond flour. And so if you do have to make some kind of adjustment like that, you do want to keep in mind that not all flours act the same. So if you need to use, say, a coconut flour, it is going to be a fraction of the almond flour, like a third of the almond flour. I ended up using a gluten-free flour mix that I bought because we think he might not do so well with gluten. So, you know, we're trying to kind of work on some of those things. And so instead of 3/4 of a cup, which is what the almond flour is, I used 1/2 cup, and that actually seemed to work out pretty well. So just so you kind of know, you do sometimes have to make adjustments. If you're lucky, you can find someone who's already figured out and put it on the interwebs for you. But that is just something to know. So I finally got the egg to dance with our cheeses over here and come together and agree with the situation. So now we've got 3/4 of a cup of just some almond flour that I put into this bowl, and we're just going to mix the dries together. So we want to put some seasoning in this. So what I have here is I have some garlic powder, some onion powder. I do have a little bit of some baking powder as well. So it's just a teaspoon, I think, of this. And then we've got a little bit of some psyllium husk. So this is going to add a little bit of chewiness to this. And so if you don't have it, don't worry, it's just a very small amount. But if you do, it does kind of help with the texture of the breadsticks. And that's something definitely you can find a little bit more easily in grocery stores. Of course, you can certainly order it online and just use it as needed in some of these alternative kind of bread products that we have. So we've got our seasonings that we have put in there, and then we're going to put some Parmesan inside. We're going to put it in the bread, and we are going to do it that way. And I'm going to stir it. Here we go. So I'm just going to get these all combined because I want this to, I like to do the dry separately because I want to make sure that I have all the dry ingredients kind of interspersed evenly with each other before I just toss it into the cheese, which kind of can get a little clumpy. And so I want to make sure I just have done that. So now I'm going to go ahead, we're going to pour it all right into that and set that out to the side. And then we're going to work it because it does take a minute. If you want to get in there with your hands, do it. If you don't like getting it on your hands, you can wear gloves. Or if you don't even like to do that and you're, I don't know, maybe kind of a weenie like me, you just work it with the spatula until it is all pulled together. So you do want to, basically you're looking for making sure that the dry ingredients seem to be stirred in well, incorporated well, that we don't have big like chunks of cheese that do not have the dry ingredients mixed into it. So you might need a minute to do it. And then we're going to roll it out. We're going to stick it in the oven and we're going to be ready to go. So what I've got here next to me is my baking sheet with parchment paper. You definitely want to use parchment paper or one of those silicone mats that the reusable ones that you can use. So I'm going to put that on here. Actually, it's easier to roll when I have it on a totally flat surface. So I'm going to put my big lump of dough here right in the middle. There we go. I'm scraping off the extra. Waste not, want not, especially in this economy, people. Right? Okay, especially with cheese. Cheese is not cheap. All right, so another piece of parchment paper on top. And we're just gonna, I'm first start with just kind of pushing it down, just trying to flatten it out a little bit. And then we're gonna push it out and try and get it, I like to try and kind of get it into the rectangle shape. It takes a little bit of convincing, but it happens. It finally submits, you know, to my persistence. But I find it tends to work a little bit easier if I have a rolling pin. And so we'll do that. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can just get a glass out because you don't really actually need to roll it like usual, the standard dough that you might be working with, like, you know, pie dough or something like that, where you really need to kind of roll it out. This we're just pushing. And so if you just have a glass, just a round glass that you can use to kind of push it, that's what I had to do because I broke my rolling pin and I haven't gotten a new one yet at home. And it just kind of gives you a little bit more of an even spread if you have something like this to help spread it out. So I'm kind of, I mean, it's sort of rectangle-ish. It's oblong is what it is. That's what I've got here. Okay, so ta-da. So we've got our bread right here. I'm going to transfer it to my baking sheet, and I'm going to take this top one off. And then because these are cheesy breadsticks, we're going to put some cheese on top. Yes, we are. So I've got, about a half a cup or so of just some shredded cheddar over here. And we're going to generously sprinkle this over the top. And there we go. And you could do other things with this, right? If you want to put in, Italian seasonings, or if you like basil, or if you like other flavors to go into this guy, but this kind of your good basic breadstick. It's going to kind of have that thin, kind of chewy, cheesy kind of a texture. So we are going to go ahead and stick this into the oven as well. Not for too long, about 15-ish minutes is what you'll need with this guy, and then it'll be ready to go. You can pull it on out, let it cool for a few minutes, of course, and then pizza slice it, because that's going to be the easier way to take care of this, not with the knife that's going to tear it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this into the oven as well. And then we're going to take a commercial break, and I'll be right back with pizza dip. You guys are going to like this one. Seriously, it's awesome.
I have so much fun trivia today. So that's what we're doing because, we talk about vegetables all the time, and this is not a vegetable heavy day. It's we're going to a party, heavy cheese, some meat, protein. Yeah, we got some cream cheese going. I know in the past couple of months we've been racking up the plant numbers, but this year is, or this month, excuse me, is lower. All right, so I've got some pizza trivia because we're doing pizza dip, and the dip is fun because you see all this on Facebook and TikTok and all the pizza in a bowl and everything keto, all that stuff. This is kind of like that, but it's more like you can bring it and people can use it and dip and have these awesome breadsticks, which can be used for many things. We actually have a different variation of these a couple of times a year, maybe 3 times a year. Last Thanksgiving, we did a pizza, same pizza dough that we did a couple months prior, we did as a roll. So the dough works for a lot of things. It's not just these awesome little, breadsticks that we're going to be using dipping. Okay, some funny pizza trivia. I did not know. I feel like I've done pizza trivia in our pizza month, but in Australia, pizza is the most popular takeaway food. I thought, I don't know why I find that fascinating. I thought that was interesting. The world's fastest pizza delivery was made in 2016 in New Zealand, taking only 12 minutes from order to delivery. 12 minutes. I'm like, what? I don't even know how they bake the pizza in that amount of time. The most expensive pizza is Louis the 8th pizza, which costs $12,000. It is topped with lobster, caviar, and 24-karat gold flakes. Okay. Let's see. In Japan, pizza delivery is done using scooters that have special heated compartments to keep the pizzas warm. I thought that was pretty cool. The world's largest pizza delivery company, Domino's, delivers 1 million pizzas every day. 1 million pizzas. I was like, whoa. I don't know why that also was surprising to me. They produce over 2 billion pizzas per year. 2 billion pizzas. Wow. Okay. Let's see. And the word pizza itself comes from the Italian word pizzaiola, means pizza maker. And in Italy, pizza is typically eaten with a fork and a knife. So let's see. Any other pizza trivia? I got lots. I got like 500. Oh, the first online pizza order was placed in 1994 from Pizza Hut website. The first online pizza order, 1994. I know. That's almost like pre-internet there. That was close. That was like AOL dial-up at that time, where you heard the fax. It sounds like a fax almost. Okay. Oh, yeah. What are favorite pizzas? Okay, this gentleman, Tony, says we use zucchini for the pizza crust. Okay, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, what are your favorite? Type in the chat. What's your favorite pizza topping? That's what I want to know. I know my favorite pizza topping. But what is your favorite pizza topping? This is a big debate. This is a big one. It's like iced versus hot coffee, right? I feel like. Although it's not just one or the other. It's not like cheese versus pepperoni or something. Hawaiian, mushroom and olive. Okay. Ham, mushroom, black olives. Black olives, Rachel, or green olives? I'm guessing black, but could be green. All right. Okay. I'll tell you my favorite is pepperoni all the way. The meatier, the better. I mean, my husband told me because we get Papa Murphy's from time to time. And he said there's one that's like pepperoni extreme. I said, yes, that's the one I want next time. Let's see. Heidi says, I have a question. Is rolled oats okay to use in different recipes? Well, Heidi, that does depend on a couple of different things, right? If you have, and I know that, you know, yeah, I know that you're one of my patients. So but sometimes when people have just had surgery, it can be very heavy to have that. Now, if you are okay and you're wanting to have a little bulk in certain things, they just, they come with a lot of carbs. So we're trying to come up with ways to offset the carbs. But yeah, if you blend them, sometimes people use them. I've put them in a coffee grinder before. I have a special like nut, oat, that kind of grinder that doesn't ever have coffee in it because it's really hard to clean them if you put coffee in it. Anyway, and I grind them and have used them to thicken things sometimes. So sure, you can use them. It's just, when you're on a weight loss journey, trying to lose weight, that can just add a lot of unnecessary carbs because you don't really need that in any of these recipes. So, okay, it looks like I'm getting the signal. No fish or green peppers. Ooh, me neither, Barb. No green peppers. Nah.
Yes, I'm with you. No green peppers. Ugh. I like the bell peppers, not the green ones. So, I mean, if you like green peppers, that's awesome. Eat them. They're good for you. It's great. I just really don't like them. But I like a lot of other vegetables, so it's cool. It's all right. Okay, so we're going to get ready here to do our pizza dip. I am wearing the oven mitts because our cheeseburger muffins came out of the oven and I put some extra cheese on top and I popped it back in for a couple minutes and melted the cheese. So we've got this nice little melty bit going on here. So that's going to sit over there and cool a little bit before we take it out of the oven. I can probably take these off now. So let's go ahead and move on to our pizza dip. So with this, we're kind of doing like a personal pan pizza dip kind of a vibe. We're going to put it in little separate ramekins. You don't have to do that. You could put it in one container and just stick it in the oven and just put a spoon in it for people to spoon out how much they want. That is perfectly fine to do. It really just kind of depends on what your need is for this kind of a situation. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. This is really tasty, by the way. I think maybe this is our favorite, Amber, and it was like really, really good. So what we've got here is we got a little bit, half a brick of some cream cheese, which is 4 ounces. So warmed that up in the microwave, 15, 20 seconds. Got it smashy. So it's all kind of nice and smashy here and easy to stir together with the other ingredients here in my bowl. So what are the other ingredients? We've got a 1/4 cup of mayo. Okay, so this is definitely party food, right? But the mayo is going to add a lot of creaminess to this. So I think you'll really find it's really quite good. We got a little bit of some sour cream going in here, about a 1/4 cup of the sour cream. So we've got that going in. And then we are going to mix a little bit of cheese. So I've got a full cup of some mozzarella here. I'm going to put in about half of it into the innards of our dip right here. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this, actually, I'm going to add my seasoning. So salt, pepper, and some Italian seasoning is part of the recipe. You can mix it in here, which I'm going to do today. You could also just like do a sprinkle, like a finish, like a nice little finish on top. You can sprinkle that on top if you want to after we put the other toppings in. But I want to mix it in this time. I'm going to give this a try. We're going to see how it goes. I think it'll be kind of nice all mixed in. It'll add some nice flavor to the cheese. And then we're going to divvy it. We're going to divvy it up here. So hopefully you can sort of see this. There we go. All right, so somewhat evenly, as evenly as you can, put it into your little ramekins or schlup it into your whole container that you're putting into the oven. Either way, do what you got to do, okay? All right, so we're going to get this. I did not do a super even job here. There we go. Get that a little bit all the way in here. So the one thing that I noticed when we were first doing this is it doesn't look like there's a lot in the little container, but when you add the other ingredients on top, it fills up. So it's pretty low into the ramekin, but there's several things we're going to put on top of that, so it's going to be fine. All right, so there's our cheesy bottom. So now we have got to, we're going to put some stuff on top here, right? So we're going to add some sauce. That's part of a pizza, right? So we need to have, I don't know, a couple spoonfuls of some sauce here going on top of each of these. And then we'll add our other toppings. So this can be a personalized thing as far as, you know, what kind of pizza toppings do you like? We'll just pick the ones that you like and put them on your little personal pan pizza dip. So I'm just going to spread out my sauce. And we got to add the topping. So there's got to be more cheese because it's pizza, right? It's pizza dip. So I've got the rest of my mozzarella. So I'm going to get a little bit of that going on in here. Of course, we're going to add a little bit of Parmesan. So again, this is definitely like, this is a treat. This is a party food thing, but it's not high sugar. It's going to be a very solid addition as far as fullness goes. You're going to get a lot of fullness out of this kind of food. So if you're kind of concerned about that, especially when you're going to parties and you want to kind of be careful about that, you'll find that something like this, it's pretty solid. And I guarantee you, if you are the bariatric / weight loss patient who's bringing this to a party, no one's going to look at this and say, oh, you brought diet food. No one's going to do that. These are going to be super tasty, gonna love them. And so what we need to do next, I think I got it all, Amber. Did I get it all? Oh, no, we need the toppings. We need the toppings. We have pepperoni and olives. I really like pepperoni too. I don't know. I kind of get a mix, Amber. I really like pepperoni. That's probably my favorite go-to. But I really like Hawaiian too. So I don't know. It's a tough one. Where some restaurants now will have like a chicken and hot honey. Almost pretty good as well. So you do you. Pick the toppings that you like. Put them on. We're going to do the pepperoni and the olives here. Yes. So then all we need to do is just pop these into the oven, right? They're going to pop into the oven. 18, 20-ish minutes, right around there. Really, we're just kind of heating everything up. There's nothing to cook, right? There's nothing to really bake that we have to have by a certain time. We just want to make sure they're heated through. So probably a good 20 minutes is going to do that for you. And I'm going to borrow, yep, not too hot, right? Not burning myself. I'm going to borrow this. I'm going to put them on my baking sheet because that's easier than putting them all in one at a time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick this in. We're going to let it ride. It's going to be in there with our breadsticks doing their good work. And then we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back. We're rocking and rolling, people. This is awesome. You can see some more sweet moves as well. It's not that sweet. It's not that great.
Make it fun. Okay. Tony mentioned, let's see. He mentioned a cauliflower crust too. So I love that. I would love to have a recipe if you make your own, because I know the ones that they sell at the store have quite a bit of starch in them sometimes. So I would love to perfect a cauliflower crust with, I'm guessing it has a lot of cheese. You know, that's what holds it together, right? But, and it's hard to get all that moisture out. Same with zucchini. Like, how do you get the moisture out? I know when I've made zucchini lasagna before, I've had to like, not one time I did it too thin and then it just turns to mush in the oven, but I've roasted it on a parchment paper really low to try to, well, first you salt it to soak, get some moisture out. Then you dab it with paper towels. Then you put it in the oven. You kind of like, got to kind of be thick enough though, so it doesn't get too mushed. But then I put it on like 300 for a little bit just to dry it out and then layer it for the lasagna. Because if you don't do that, it gets pretty soggy. Like lasagna can be kind of soggy anyway, but that definitely does it. Okay, I've got some more trivia. Okay, this is about picnics. Since we're talking about picnics, everything to know about picnics. And it's funny because I don't know, like maybe I'm trying to think, like I think I picnicked when my kids were little. I think I picnicked with my husband before I had kids, but I don't really do a lot of picnics. It says that the average person in America picnic 3 times a year. So I thought, okay, cool, 3 times a year. And if you count concerts and different things, I guess you count a football game or a baseball game. We're picnicking, we're bringing stuff and sitting in a bleacher. I don't know. Let's see. The National Picnic Day in the United States is April 23rd. Interesting. Kind of a chilly time of year, depending on where you're at. In Great Britain, where they really, really are into picnics, there's a whole week devoted to picnics, which is National Picnic Week. So let's see. I'm trying to think I thought I had a definition of what the picnic is, but we all know what a picnic is. Let's see. Picnics were originally considered an extremely fashionable social event exclusively for the members of upper class, as opposed to the casual, inclusive get-togethers that they are today. The French, of course, were the first to introduce the idea of the modern picnic by opening up royal parks to the public after the French Revolution in 1789. And years ago, the most popular picnic food, yuck, a cheese sandwich? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of cheese and bread together like that. Unless you're like, yeah, I don't know. Today, potato chips are the favorite picnic food. That is not a food. A potato chip? I guess it's a food. I don't know. That's borderline food. What do you think? Let's see. And lastly, I have some other trivia, but lastly, the phrase, it's no picnic, to describe something difficult, dates all the way back to 1884. That's no picnic. Traffic. Actually, today, traffic was a picnic. Yeah. So, all right. It looks like Jen is ready. Awesome, awesome. We are flying. Well, it's 11:40. We're actually not flying. It feels like we're flying, but we're not. That's okay. We're doing great.
All right. I think we're doing pretty good. So we've only got a couple things left, and then we're going to be taking it home for you guys. So, of course, we're going to have something a little bit lighter, right? A little bit healthier. We need a little roughage in this place today, right? A lot of cheese. We need some roughage. And so we thought, a coleslaw is kind of a good way to do that. But let's mix it up a little bit. So we have a buffalo coleslaw for you guys today. Something's coming out of the oven. Let's see what I got. So I got to interrupt myself. I think it's the breadsticks. Stand by, people. Stand by. Wow. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay. There it is. You can kind of see it, sort of see it. It's the lighting that's really tough, and I don't want to grab it with my other hand because it's really
looks like a yellow glare.
Yeah. Okay. We'll cut that. We'll show it to you. But it's cheesy. It's bready looking. It's got a little browning on the outside. It did great. Actually, that came out really well. So first of all, bowl of shredded cabbage. Okay, right there. You can shred it yourself. Probably won't need a whole head, maybe half to 3/4 of a head. But we just got a 10-ounce bag of some shredded cabbage from the store. You can just get the green, or you can get the tricolor if you want. But today we just have green. It is in the bowl. Now we're going to make our dressing and let that sit together for a hot minute before we add all the other good things in here. So we're going to have our mayonnaise. It is going to be kind of a creamy-ish dressing. Creamy, spicy, creamy buffalo-y. That's what it's going to be. So you got about a 1/3 cup or so of some mayonnaise. Got a little cream going in that joint. And then we got a 1/3 cup of our hot sauce. We got the Frank's hot sauce, whatever one you like. But it is a buffalo hot sauce. And so that's going in the bowl. A little bit of some apple cider vinegar, just a couple tablespoons. So not a lot, just a little bit to give it a little bit more of that, that kind of like vinegary right there. And then of course, a little bit of flavor. So we've got some salt and some garlic powder. This is really going to add a nice little extra bit of flavor, some other flavor layers, right? We need to layer the flavors. That's what we're always trying to do. And I got a whisk out just for this very thing. So let's use it, shall we, Jen? Okay. So we're just going to whisk it together. That's our dressing. And then we will set it to the side where it will wait patiently for us. Okay? Yeah, so nice, kind of like a creamy looking buffalo. There we go. All right, that goes there. So let's go ahead and put the rest of our ingredients together. So we got a nice cabbage in there, 2 ribs of some celery chopped up. And then when you're chopping this, I would go through it once the long way, and then that'll give them a little bit smaller pieces really easy. And so we're going to put that in there. I think we've got like, I don't know, about half of an onion's worth. Just some white onion, a little bit of onion, a little bit of crunch going in there. A little bit of chives. So you can use fresh chives, you can use dry. We've got some dry today, so I'm going to toss about half of that into my coleslaw. And then the same with the cheese, right? Because the buffalo, we have to have some blue cheese. Those things go together readily. Thank you, Amber. The breadsticks were moving on their own. So we're going to put about half of that in here. Right? And then we'll save the other half to put it on top or afterwards. So I'm just going to toss this a little bit, and then we're just going to toss it in our dressing, and then that's it. Right? Bada bing, bada boom. So let's go ahead and get this in here and just kind of mix it up. And the nice thing with this is with it being cabbage as opposed to like spinach or some other kind of regular green, you can do it ahead of time and it'll be fine, right? It's going to kind of hold its what do we call it? Hold its texture, I guess, to be the best way of saying it. So you can do this ahead of time, stick it in the fridge, and then just pull it out, and it's ready to go. So we've got it's all mixed together, easy peasy. So what I'll do is I'll put this in a nicer bowl or on a nicer tray, and then I will top it with some more of my chives and the rest of my blue cheese. And then if you're feeling spicy about it and really want to look amazing, you do a little drizzle of the hot sauce on top, and just out it goes. And again, health food, good for you. People are going to totally dig it. All right, they're going to say, wow, what a cool dish you brought. So I think we're about done with that guy. So before we go to commercial break, I'm just going to tell you about the last recipe that we made. So we made some cinnamon sticks. I didn't want to say Cinnasticks because I think that's from Pizza Hut, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to copy that. So cinnamon sticks. They are cinnamon breadsticks. And what we have right over here is something very similar. There we go, right there. To the breadsticks that I made earlier. So it's a very similar base. It's got the mozzarella, it's got the cream cheese. It's going to have the psyllium husk in it, but then to mix it up and kind of make it more appropriate for this flavor profile, we put a little bit of some sweetener and some cinnamon in it, and then mix that all together, rolled that out, baked that, and then at the end, we brushed some butter on top. Oh, I just threw one. Oh, Amber, my hands are all over the place. I know. So brushed some butter on top, sprinkled some sweetener, sprinkled some cinnamon, and that was it. I just kind of let it sit so that could kind of soak in a little bit. And then you got these, they're really good. They're really quite good, actually. You got some cinnamon sticks. We put a little bit of a little spritz of some whipped cream, put some strawberries in there just to make it look kind of pretty and give it some color. So that is our dessert for today. So what we'll do here is we'll step aside. We'll have another commercial break, and then we'll bring everything back out again for you and show you what we have. And of course, Any other questions or comments from the peanut gallery out there, right? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on a bowl. I'm going to put this on a platter, I think is what I'm going to do with this guy and make it look pretty. All right.
Stop it.
Silly and ridiculous. Stop it.
Okay. In our final break, I would like to talk about some upcoming classes because I really, really, really want to just let you guys know what's happening. So next month there's some little artwork from our buffalo salad there. Let's see. Tony did ask, and I forgot to tell Jen, can you put boiled eggs chopped up in that salad? I was like, yeah, heck yeah, that sounds great. Let's see. I don't think of that, Tony, because I'm allergic to eggs. It's terrible. It's horrible. It's hard. It's hard. I love eggs too, but they do not love me. Okay, so October cooking class. Of course, I'm going to tell you all about it, and I forgot the day. It is October 17th. I'm almost 100% sure, but let's just look on the calendar to make 100% sure. Let's see, October 17th, Friday, October 17th, stews, brews, and creepy chews. Right, it's Halloween. We want to always do something funny. We've got stews, and we do like a drink, a brew, and then something creepy. The creepiest thing we ever did were these like finger things. Like they were finger, what? Witchy fingers, and they were like basically like the breadstick with something on the end, and then a little almond looked like a fingernail. It was pretty bad. Anyway, pretty good, but bad. And then let's see, November, we're doing our next Healthy Living series, Vitamins and Minerals. I will be teaching that, and that is every Tuesday from 11:30 to 12. 11/4, the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. Again, that's from 11:30 to 12, and you need to make sure to sign up for those. And then, of course, our next support group actually is one of my favorites because we have a guest speaker, Christy Rux from Twin Falls. She's a physical therapist, and she does some great group activities and different things, always gets us all involved in that support group. And that is October 8th. And that's from 5 to 6 p.m. That one we do not record, and we can't send you anything on it if you miss it. But the cooking classes we record every week, every month. We also are starting to publish. We have to get that done. Healthy living classes. That way, if you miss them, because they are during work time. And Jen's finishing up her last Brain Matters class is coming Tuesday. No, 2 more. Wait, you have 2. Oh no, it is only 1 more. Yeah, 1 more. And I did a gut health class in July, so we're going to be posting those on the YouTube as well, St. Luke's YouTube. And speaking of, I'll show you where that is in case you have never been. It's St. Luke's Health System. You got to make sure that beautiful blue logo is there because there's several other St. Luke's in the U.S. Let's see, and then you click on playlist, and then you click on bariatric nutrition, and you can see Jen's beautiful face there with her apron on. And we have, oh man, almost 2 years worth of cooking videos up there. So if you look at one and go, oh, I want the recipes, just send us an email. We'll send you those recipes if you tell us which month it is and year, of course. But we just have a lot of things going on. We want you to be a part of. It helps just kind of stay connected, especially some of you that are farther out. You might start to feel a little disconnected. We do post all of these classes that I mentioned on it's got a new website, I guess, St. Luke's Bariatric Nutrition. If you Google that, you'll be able to see kind of updated list of all of our classes. Okay. Jen is ready as she'll ever be. It's 11:52. We're doing pretty good. So, yeah, we're ready. I'm going to switch it on over to her.
So I'm just going to go through the recipes, show you the final products. So we have our cheeseburger muffins here. So I'm going to try and kind of hold it up so you can kind of see it a little bit, hopefully, right? So you can kind of see. So it's got the crust there on the side, prettier than it was originally. And then we dressed it with some, kind of some standard basic stuff, right? So we got some ketchup, we got some mustard, We got some chopped pickles. You could do pickle relish if you wanted to. And then to go along with that, which is a good choice, by the way, we've got our Thousand Island dressing. So that is this guy right here. There we go. It just looks like mac sauce. That's kind of mac sauce / Thousand Island dressing is what it is. It just tastes really good. I don't know. Amber and I just keep making it in our homes because it just tastes really good. We put it on burgers. I like to put it on tacos. So like any taco, quite honestly, I like to put it on that. So really, really good sauce, multi-purpose if you like that kind of a thing. Really, really good flavor. All right, so then we had to move on and we had to make our breadsticks, right? So we made our cheesy breadsticks, which I can, ta-da, sort of. I mean, that's what you got, right? So breadstick, boom, right there. They got a little bit of a crust on the bottom, so you got a really good bake on that. And then the cheese is melted on top. The seasonings are built in. They're just really, really good. They're just a really nice flavor. So if you miss that sort of a thing and you want to be able to enjoy that every now and then, or if you want to use that in place of something else like the pizza crust or make smaller ones, and then that can be a burger bun maybe for you. That's kind of a good application there. And then that is, in our case, meant to be paired with our personal pizza dips. And I don't know if I can grab them. They're a little hot still. But we've got, I can do that. There we go. Yeah. So it's a little hard to see, but you got your toppings there and you see the cheese. You don't really see much underneath, of course. But we've got the whole thing in there. And so this would be a single serving for any one individual, or, you know, you could kind of parse them out depending on how much you actually felt like you could or should have. But then again, you can also, for more of a larger party setting, you can put it in a container. Just let people spoon it out and put it on their plates and then put the breadsticks with it. And that can work really, really well. So definitely encourage you to try that out. We've got our buffalo coleslaw, which is orange because it's buffalo sauce. Just put some of that blue cheese and some of the chives on top. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy on that one. And then of course, already showed you, but showing you again, we've got our cinnamon breadsticks. So a really good grouping of tasty recipes today. I think any one of these you guys are going to enjoy. It just depends on what your need is and what you particularly like. But these are all going to provide you with protein. They're all low sugar. We've got some veg in here, but just some kind of fun, not less junky kind of party food is what we have here. So definitely encourage you guys to give these a try. Do we have any other questions, comments? Any good jokes?
Santana put a really funny meme up, like of Scooby-Doo, like drooling. Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
Yeah, that
Well,
was.
you should. Good
Barb
representation.
said, you guys knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. I think we did. I mean, if it was like smell and taste division, you guys would definitely be on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tony had said earlier, so dinner at Jen's place tonight?
Everyone come on down.
Yeah.
Yes, come on down.
Yes.
Sounds good. All right, I think
Yeah.
we got it.
Got it.
So yeah, enjoy you guys. I'm out. I am gonna eat some of this. This is for me.